Okay, welcome to You're the Boss podcast show. And today I have with me Bart Merrell, and he is a entrepreneur, author, and a Monetize Your Mindset presenter. He's helped take the first commercial bungee jump to Japan. He's not sure if he's proud of that or not, but he's jumped off a bungee tower just hanging on from the bungee cord with his hands. He's been a serial entrepreneur since before he could drive, legally anyway, because he crashed his parents' car while he was 8. So we're going to hear loads of information from Bart today about how you can monetize your business, monetize your ideas, because he is the master at that. So Bart, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Okay, so just explain a little bit more. We got a little bit of backstory there, but explain a little bit more about what it is you do.
So I help people identify their ideal side hustle and create financial security by monetizing those things that we already know and do. It's something that I've done all my life, and it wasn't what I wanted to do on purpose. My dream job was to get in the FBI and chase serial killers.
Okay.
And and so I grew up on a small town on a farm in a small town in southern New Mexico, and we had a family friend that was an ex-FBI agent. And so I went and visited with him, and he said the easiest way into the FBI is through accounting. And then once you get in the FBI, you apply to the positions that are open, so you don't have to stay in the white collar and use your accounting degree. You can apply to other positions. And so I decided, okay, that's the path I'm going to take. My dad talked me into it. The FBI guy talked me into it. So here we go. I got into college, was studying accounting, and I found out very quick that one, I didn't like it, and two, I wasn't very good at it. And then I took the last quarter off and I went home and helped my dad on the pig farm to improve my Spanish. And while I was down there, I had RK surgery done on my eyes. It was corrective vision surgery where it was before LASIK, and they basically cut little slits in your eyeball, and the scar tissue changes the shape of your eyeball and corrects your vision. I had 20/20 in one eye, 20/25 in the other eye for till I was like 52, 53 years old, and then I had to go back to my glasses. So the surgery worked perfectly. I got back up to school, was finishing up school, starting the application process into the FBI, and I found out that automatically disqualified me from the FBI,
No.
the
Okay.
surgery.
Oh.
And so let's review. I didn't like accounting, and I wasn't very good at it, and I was now graduating in accounting and not getting into my dream job. I was devastated.
Sure.
And I was up at school. A buddy of mine, he worked for a bungee jump company that had just sold a bungee tower to Japan. I spoke Japanese because I'd lived in Japan for a couple of years.
Okay.
And he jokingly asked me, would you like to go back to Japan? I thought about it a second and I said, non-jokingly, yes, I would like to go back to Japan.
Right.
And so that's where it started. And I talk to people sometimes and they say, well, you were just lucky. And as we get into my show, well, that's just the first thing. My dream job just got blown up. I graduated in something that I did not like to do and I wasn't good at. So was I lucky? I don't know. And so I say that luck is, or I don't say, Seneca says luck is when opportunity and preparedness meet.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
say, well, yes, that's true. And you have to do one more thing, take
Mm.
action.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you opportunity and preparedness meet and you don't take action, nothing happens.
Exactly. Exactly.
So whenever my buddy asked me, do you want to go back to Japan? I said yes. And I went back to Japan. And that's how it all started.
Okay, so tell me about the bungee experience first.
Okay. So I am a bungee jump master in Japan.
Okay.
That means I have the authority to push Japanese people off the top of an 8-story bungee tower. And on our busiest day, we assisted 783 people off the top of this tower. But sometimes during the week, it was slow, and I was up at the top of the tower by myself with my brilliant mind.
Okay.
Now, this is brilliant. This is crazy. For those who aren't watching and just listening, your finger beside your head going forward is brilliant, going backwards is
This is crazy.
crazy.
Okay.
So my at the bottom of my bungee tower, there's a stunt person airbag that they use for movies. So in theory, I'd never seen it done, but in theory, one could jump from the top of the bungee tower just hanging on with your head, or jump from the top of the bungee tower without a bungee cord.
Right.
My brilliant mind was asking me, "Do you think you could do that?" And so I walked to the edge and I looked down. I ain't that crazy. So I sat back down and the brilliant mind continues to move forward and says, "Well, maybe you could jump with a bungee cord attached. And then when the bouncing stops, you just unhook yourself. That way you're falling from 6 stories instead of 8." I
Okay.
was just like, "Yeah, I can do that." 60 feet versus 80 feet, yeah, that's a big difference. And so I jumped, I waited for the bouncing to stop. It didn't. I couldn't unhook myself. There was too much tension on the bungee cord.
Okay.
So I went back up to the top one more time. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, when we connect our customers to the bungee cord, we use this nylon strap that's about a foot long, about an inch wide, and it has a carabiner on one end. I could take the carabiner, wrap it around, hook it on itself, and I have a loop. I could get 2 of those. I have 2 loops, hook it to the end of the bungee cord, and then I have handles. I could jump just hanging on, wait for the bouncing to stop, and then all I have to do is let go. Now that's brilliant, right? I grabbed the handles, I walked to the edge, I look down and I go 3, 2, 1 bungee, and I jumped. I waited for the now obviously I'm okay
Mm.
because I'm here.
You
I
survived.
waited for the I waited for the bouncing to stop,
Huh?
and then I was just supposed to let go. But sometimes your brilliant mind doesn't go far enough.
Mm-hmm.
I am hanging from what is really a giant rubber band. What's going to happen when I let go? That bungee cord shot to the top of the tower with a loud bang. I fell to the bottom and hit the mat with a loud slap. It echoed throughout the park, and everybody came running to see who just died. I crawling out of the mat. I'm okay. Now let's kind of take this into the business world. Because you can think I'm crazy, you can think I'm brilliant, whatever it is, but the truth of the matter is to be in business, to be an entrepreneur, to side hustle, you have to be a little bit of both.
Mm. Yeah, you
You
do.
have to be willing to take that first leap, even
Yes.
if you don't know what the outcome is going to be. Now, for those of you who think, Bart, but that's just a stupid risk, you're right. But I had bungee jumped over 1,000 times. I knew the kind of forces I was going to feel, and my educated guess or my educated assessment was that I could hang on. I was probably 99% sure that I could hang on. The only thing I was a little bit worried about is when I hit the end of the cord, you bounce up and you have that moment of weightlessness. And I
Mm-hmm.
was worried that I was going to go, and let go. But I didn't. I hung on. So the point is that to be in business, you need to be willing to take risk. Not stupid risk, an educated risk.
Educated
And so
risk, yeah.
that's how I learned how to take risk.
Nice. So what would you say to someone? So it's easy to say, okay, you've got to be willing to take a risk, but what would you say to someone who has probably spent all of their life in maybe a corporate job and they're thinking about starting a business, but that's quite scary because now they're dealing with going from a guaranteed income to now they've got to be responsible for getting their own income in. What would you say to help them over that gap, that
If
fear?
you can start your business as a side hustle where you're doing it on the side, then that's going to take away a little bit of that risk.
Mm,
If
yeah.
you can't, then I would definitely get a mentor to help you through it.
Right. Yeah, that's good
Because
advice.
if you can have someone to hold your hand and
Yeah.
and help you navigate some of the tricky stuff, you're going to feel more comfortable, you're going to feel more confident, and as they take you down the road, you take those first steps and you start to get more confidence and more confidence and more confidence. The hardest step is that first one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's getting out of your comfort zone, right? And doing something you haven't done
And the
before.
more and the more you do it, the more you get comfortable and you have to take bigger
Yeah,
risk.
that's right.
Bigger
The
risk.
comfort zone expands out more and more and more. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can remember when I first started my business, same kind of thing. I went from a full-time job to, and I did gradually go into it. I went part-time and then ran my business on the side. But that took off quite quickly. And then I ended up having to hire staff. So I had to get an office. So that was a big move for me is now I'm not just responsible for my own income, I'm responsible for somebody else's and I've got to make the rent. Right. So that was a huge incentive to, right, I've got to get my act together. This has to work. Right.
Yes.
And then,
Yes.
so the first office I had was, I paid $1,000 in Singapore dollars for my first office. And as we grew, we outgrew the office and we had to get a different office. And it ended up at the height, I was paying $4,000 for rent. And I would have done anything to pay $1,000. $1,000 suddenly seemed like nothing, right?
Exactly.
So as you just get used to the different positions as you grow, everything just seems like a hurdle at the beginning. But once you've gone past that hurdle and you look back, it was like, well, that was easy, right? So,
Yeah.
so that's the way
Yep.
business grows. So tell me about when you, because you're known as the money, what is it? Monetize your mindset, right? So tell me about the different ideas you have for different kinds of businesses and how people should be thinking about, especially if they haven't got any idea. They know they want a business, but they don't know what. What would
Right.
you give as advice for that?
And so monetize your mindset is about thinking about what's all around you, the opportunities that are all around you and not overlooking them. It's about identifying that ideal side hustle, the one that is from your life because we all have life experiences. Now, for me, anything that crosses my path, good, bad or ugly, I always question, can I monetize it?
Hmm.
That doesn't mean I monetize everything, but I always ask the question.
Right.
When
Okay.
I took the bungee jump thing, it wasn't a job. I contracted with the Japanese company because the American company had sold a bungee tower in Japan, and they needed someone to help with the translation and help with the construction, then
Hmm.
the training the staff, and they didn't pay me. It was the Japanese company that I contracted with. And then they liked me. And so from 1994 to 2000, I spent half of my life in Japan just going back and forth. I
Right.
would make my money in Japan. I'd come to America. I'd hang out and do whatever I wanted. And then they would call me back and have, they called me one time and they said, we saw this ride on TV It's a complete unattached free fall into a net from 150 feet in the air. And it's in Germany. We want you to go try it. And I missed the fact that it was in Germany. I'm still thinking about falling into the net. And I
Mm-hmm.
said to them, into a net from 150 feet in the air? That's gotta hurt. And they said, yeah, that's why we want you to go try it. And so I called Germany. Germany said, right now it's just for stuntmen. We'll call you back when it's ready for the public. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't think I'd ever get a call back. 2 months later, I got a call from Germany. They said it's ready. I was on a flight to Germany. I tried it 3 or 4 times. I continued on my flight to Japan. Sold three of those in Japan, and then the German company contracted with me to build two in the U.S.
Mm.
And so things that cross your path.
Right.
Um, I'm in Japan, and so here's another thing I want to kind of touch on. When an opportunity comes your way, this is a Richard Branson quote.
Mm-hmm.
When an amazing opportunity, when someone offers you an amazing opportunity and you don't know how to do it, say yes and figure out how to do it.
Figure out how to do it afterwards. Yeah.
So I'm in Japan and I'm going to a gym in Japan and I'm 6'4", 220 pounds. I'm pretty big, especially
Yeah.
in the Japanese world. And I'm the big gringo, the big gaijin in Japan, and I'm in this gym, and nobody will talk to me for like the first 2 weeks, except for the gym staff.
Okay.
And one guy comes up to me and he goes, "Hello," and I mean he's doing his best to say hello, and I said hello, and he says "Foof." Then I start speaking into him in Japanese, and he goes "Foof. I'm glad you speak Japanese because I was done at Hero." We became friends. He was a big rig driver in Japan, drove the big trucks in Japan.
Okay.
And about a year or so later, he says, I want to quit driving truck and start importing camping trailers from America and Ford and Dodge diesel pickups to pull the camping trailers. Will you help me?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he knew how to do it, so I said yes because I didn't know how to do it. Yes, well, I'll help you. Well, come to find out, he didn't know how to do it either. But we
Okay.
both said yes. We've been doing that business since 1997
Wow. Okay.
because we both said yes.
Right.
So an opportunity came my way, I said yes.
Yes. Nice. Nice. Nice.
For for people who don't have any ideas, I tell them to do this. Make a list. What do you like to do? What do you need to do? What are you already doing? Make 3 lists. Don't think about can I turn it into a stream of income or not. Just make your list, brain dump your list. And then when you got that done, you're gonna put those into 2 different lists. What can I turn into a stream of income the fastest? And what do I like to do the most? And this is where you have to go do your research. You need to figure out how much you like it, and you need to figure out what the resources are that it will take to make this happen. Because whenever we do business, we have to give up resources, whether it's your office building, like you were talking about,
Mm.
$1,000, $4,000. You're going to need that time, effort.
Yeah.
What is it going to take to turn this into a stream of income? And are you willing to give it up?
Right. Okay.
As you're doing this, 2 or 3 things are going to boil to the top, and you're going to have 2 or 3 ideas that you can start with.
Mm.
And
Right.
then you just have to make the decision.
Yeah, I think it's really good that you say write down ideas that things that you want to do, that you like to do, because that's important. If you're running your own business, you have to enjoy what you're doing, I think, when you're spending all that time doing it.
Hmm.
Mm.
And I also feel that people overlook the what you need to do
Yeah.
because you're already doing it. Time is so valuable right now
Mm.
people's lives are busy.
Mm.
And so if you're going to be doing it anyway, you might as well turn it into a stream of income.
Yes,
So
exactly.
that's I lost my lower left leg March 25th, 2024. I had to have it amputated. I found out in like October of 2023 that this was going to happen, that my foot had to go. And once the shock and awe was over, I said, okay, I don't like this. There's nothing I can do about it. It has to happen. So how can I monetize it? 6 months post-op, I'm talking with my prosthetist. I'm in an appointment. And I said, Scott, I interviewed 3 other prosthetists before I chose you. One of them had a guy that I could go talk to, that I could ask questions to, that had his leg amputated. Scott, you don't have a guy. I'm your guy. And he says, okay, what do you want? I said, Scott, I don't want a job. And I'm kind of on retainer, and I'm a 1099 contractor. For those outside of America, that just means on a contracted basis. I'm not his employee.
Hmm.
And I talk to people and help them through what it is I had to go through.
Hmm.
I didn't want to go through it. I don't like doing it. But when I say doing it, what does that mean? So before I had my leg chopped off, I would brush my teeth and hop in bed. And I would wait for my wife to get done with her skincare stuff, taking this makeup off and putting cream on, and 45 minutes later she hops in bed. Now I have to do that to my leg.
Oh,
So
okay.
now I have a routine. I got to care for my prosthetic leg. I got to care for my residual leg so that I don't get sores. Because if I get a sore and it gets infected, I could go from a lower left leg to an upper left leg
Mm,
amputation.
right.
And people need to be trained on this and helped through this. And that's just the physical stuff. The mental games, when I was going to get it cut off. Now, number one, I jumped off a bungee tower just hanging on with my hands. Walking through those hospital doors that morning to get my leg cut off was the most terrifying thing I've ever done. The easiest way I can explain this, that's a little bit exaggerated, is I felt like a death row inmate walking to the death chamber to be killed.
Okay.
I mean, it's a little exaggeration, but I'm walking in. I won't be walking out.
Mm, not the same
Okay.
way, right? Yeah.
I'm wheeled out so it's a little bit different. I mean, it's quite a bit different. Let me
Yeah.
just be honest. It's quite a bit different. But to get someone who doesn't really understand how
Mm,
I feel, that
mm,
kind of gets them there.
mm.
And then I knew that I could. Well, I didn't know. It was hard. It was hard, hard, hard to walk through those doors.
Mm.
But I was more worried about after it was over, and I looked down and I'm missing a leg. Mentally, how was that going to do for me? What was it going to do to me? And I didn't want to look at my leg. I didn't want to touch
Right.
my leg. I
So,
didn't
so
want to
this,
go out. And so this type of stuff is what I help people go through or deal with as they're going through their amputation.
and you recognize that because you had the need as you were preparing for your operation, you had questions and you needed to
Man,
get
I went
answers.
I went down that YouTube rabbit hole like you
Yeah.
couldn't believe. And you had people like me who were, kind of fun to listen to, but they didn't really have credibility other than the fact that they had their leg cut off, or had an amputation of some sort. And then you had the prosthetist or the doctor that would be out there, and you're just like, oh man, I can't listen to this. I want to poke my eye out. It's so boring. And so I just wanted to help people get through that. But I don't want to say more than that. I, I want to go back to, I, I knew I had to do it. So if I'm going to be doing it for myself, why not monetize it?
Yeah. Yeah.
When life gives you lemons, they say build lemonade or make lemonade. So when life gives you lemons, they say make lemonade. I take it one step further and say if you're going to be making lemonade, you might as well build the lemonade stand and sell the stuff.
That's right. That's right. And I think what I've come across as well with some people is it's actually staring at them in the face what they could start a business with. It's so obvious. They've got the skills and they could be the expert that starts that business, right? And but they kind of dismiss it as, oh, nobody's going to want to know about that. It's easy, or, nobody has this problem. I can do it, therefore everyone can do it. I think people get into that kind of mindset. So I've had someone that I work with that had this mindset of they were very good at finance and just assumed that everybody could manage their money. And not everyone can manage their money, right? And trying to make her see that just because she found it easy doesn't mean everyone finds it easy. And the fact that other people don't find it easy means there's a way to monetize that, right? Because people are looking for the solution, right?
And people
So don't
think that
dismiss your skills.
yeah, and they think I don't know enough.
Mm,
You know,
mm.
there's someone else that knows more than me.
Yeah, the
That's
comparison trap,
true. That's
right?
true. There is
Yes,
someone that knows more than you,
yeah.
but there's a lot of people that know less. And
Mm,
a friend of mine, his name's Paul, Paul the positivity psychologist.
okay.
And he says to a first grader, a third grader is an expert.
Yes.
And to a third grader, a sixth grader, and to a sixth grader, a 12th grader. And so there's always someone that you can help and get compensated for your time and your effort.
Yeah. That's a really good point. And I think people just, yeah, the this comparison trap that people fall into. You're comparing yourself often with people that have been in the industry for 10 years. They're really good at what they do. It just comes natural to them. And if you're comparing yourself and you're just starting, there's no comparison, right? You've got to compare apples to apples. And actually don't compare at all, because the only thing you really want to compare is yourself to yourself. Are you progressing? Are you getting better at what you do? Are you better than the day before? But if you start comparing yourself to other people, that's where you fall down. I think we just got
And
to
what you need
avoid
to do is
comparison.
look at the other people and see where their gaps are.
Yeah, yeah,
And then you fill the gap.
yes, yeah, and do things your way. Become your own brand, as we say. Yeah. So, anything that we've talked about today that we haven't covered that you want to make a point on that would kind of just bring this to a close?
So if you don't mind, I'd like to kind of go through the three questions again. What do you like to do? What do you need to do? What are you already doing?
Mm.
And let's give an example of, I mean, whatever you like to do is kind of easy to figure out. But let's take a look at one from my life is I bought my first stereo when I was 11 years old. I'd love to listen to music.
Yeah, me too.
And it cost me $285. It was a Sanyo all-in-one system. And I thought I was in heaven. But shortly I realized that I just purchased a liability because every time I went to town, I had to buy the new cassette or the new record or the new CD. That's what it was back then. And guess what? Back then, we maybe liked one or two songs on the album, but we had to buy the whole thing. We had to
Oh,
buy the crappy stuff too. And for an 11-year-old kid, that was pretty expensive.
yeah.
And then when I got to 15 and I got my driver's license, I decided, okay, let's turn this into an asset. And I started a mobile disco business. I
Okay.
called myself Illusion. I don't know why, but I thought it was cool. It was Illusion. And I'm in Podunk, New Mexico, small town New Mexico, and there was nobody hiring 15-year-old DJs. So I had to create my own opportunity. I
Right.
rented the community center after a basketball game or a football game.
Mm-hmm.
I hired an off-duty cop to be security. Mom and dad took money at the door. I spun records. Everybody danced, had a great time. And as
Fantastic.
a 15-year-old kid, I was making $700 a night
Mm.
doing something I loved.
Wow.
And
That's
so
inspiring. Okay. Yeah.
and then okay, so we talked about one of the things that you need to do, which or that I needed to do, which was my leg. A few years ago, my wife, she comes in and she says, Bart, I'm getting a little more than I bargained for, and I would like to see a little less of you. Meaning, my before picture was good enough. She wanted me to start working on my after the weight loss picture.
Okay.
She was telling me I was fat. and so, and I'm like, okay, I get it. I agree with you. I'm a little bit heavier than when we got married by
Uh-huh.
about, I think, 50 pounds.
Okay.
And so when I agreed with her, I said, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to get paid to do it.
Mm.
And she wanted me to get back to what she bargained for, which was back to when we got married. So back to
Okay.
my wedding weight.
Okay.
So I went to GoDaddy and I typed in back to my wedding weight. BacktoMyWeddingWeight.com was available. I bought it. I bought it. I didn't even know how I was going to lose the weight.
Mm.
I just knew that I needed to do it, and I didn't want to. I mean, I don't like to diet and exercise, but I needed to do it.
Right.
I held on to that domain name for 7.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was just spending the money to keep it in my name. I couldn't find the program to help me lose weight. It
Right.
was all about the 90-day challenge of
Mm.
dieting and getting my butt to the gym, and that wasn't in my DNA. I went to the gym the first day. I paid for 3 years of membership, and then I never went back again.
A lot of people that do that. Yeah.
Then finally, a friend of mine from California, Beth, she calls me and she says, Bart, I found it. It's amazing. You got to try it. It's amazing. You tried and you don't like it. You're going to get your money back. It's amazing. And I'm like, Beth, calm down. What is it? It's the 10-day celebrity transformation cleanse. Beth, I want to do a 10-day cleanse like I want a colonoscopy, and that's not very bad. Now, Beth, I got to give her credit because she's quick on her feet.
Uh-huh.
Well, Bart, at your age, you probably need both. And so finally, she didn't give up on me. She kept on me. She kept on me. About a year of her bugging me, I finally said, okay, I'll try it. I did my first cleanse, and it's not a juice cleanse or a water cleanse. It's just a vegan cleanse, a
Mm.
healthy with a green drink that doesn't taste the best, but it's still
Right.
okay.
Palatable.
And I did that first cleanse, and in 10 days, I lost 18 and a half
Whoa. Okay.
without stepping inside the gym.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I like this. I got to do another one. I waited 5 days. I did another one. Lost another 11 pounds. In less than 20 days, I lost almost 30 pounds. I'm excited now. And so
Mm.
I bought me two more.
Right.
And I did 4 cleanses in 2 months and 5 days. And I lost almost 50 pounds. I was back to my wedding weight, giving my wife what I bargained for, or what she bargained for.
Right.
Now, it's not about the amazing cleanse. It's not about that. It's about I made money by turning something that I didn't want to do, that I needed to do, into a stream of income.
So how did you turn it into a stream of income?
I became an affiliate for the stuff I used.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
And so
Yeah.
the first two cleanses, nobody cared. But that third cleanse, I was walking my dog in front of my house, and my neighbor pulls up and he stops and he looks, oh, that's you. I thought someone stole your dog. And so I looked so much different
Yeah.
that he thought I was stealing my dog.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like, you look 20 years younger. And I'm like, thank you.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
so
makes a difference.
things you need to do, pay attention
Mm.
because you have to do them anyway.
So
So
you
let's
might
take
as
the
well.
last one.
Mm.
Things you're already doing.
Mm-hmm.
A few years ago, I hopped into an Uber. My driver was Megan. I said, Megan, how's things treating you today? She's like, oh, I just do this to and from work. She
Oh.
was a nurse at a hospital, but she lived about an hour away.
Mm-hmm.
And when she would get in her car to go to work, she would grab someone, take them
Mm-hmm.
into the city.
Mm-hmm.
When she got off work, she would grab someone and take them home.
Mm.
She made an extra $60, $70 a day by
Right.
picking someone up. And if she had someone in her car with her, she could use the passenger lane or the HOV lane,
Okay.
and she would get to work quicker
Faster. Yeah.
if she was in rush hour traffic. And I was
Mm.
just like, Megan, that's genius.
Mm.
Do you mind if I talk about that? She's like, yeah, go ahead. And so that's something that she was already doing.
Yeah.
It also goes into something that she needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Myself, I bought my first house just out of college. I was single. I took the best room and I
Mm-hmm.
rented out the others to single
Mm.
guys.
Mm-hmm.
They paid my mortgage and then some. Then when I
Right.
got married, I rented out the basement and took the upstairs. And then when we moved to our new house that we live in now, I looked for a house with an accessory apartment. This is the funniest, this is the killer. My renter in my other house moved with me to this house. I have never owned a house where at least half of the mortgage wasn't paid for by somebody else.
Good.
So so
Yeah.
those are just some ideas that people should look at. You know,
Mm.
just what do you like to do? What do
Mm-hmm.
you need to do?
Mm-hmm.
What are you already doing? Make your lists and then go through them and see what bubbles up as
Mm.
exciting to you.
Mm.
And if you need help, get a mentor.
Mm. Yeah.
Someone that will hold your hand and help you through the decisions you have to make. There's
Take
with
the lead.
AI and everything that's out there right now, there is not a better time in the history of the world to start a business.
I
You
agree.
can save
It's all there
time,
for you. Mm.
you can save time, money, and increase your chances of success.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything can be done faster, cheaper. There's almost no barrier to entry really to start a business, right?
Information is there.
Yeah.
Information is at our fingertips, literally.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. So everyone should take a leaf out of Bart's book there and start looking around you, looking at what you do, what you need to do, what you like to do, and what you're doing anyway, and start to get some ideas on what kind of business you can start. And then multiple businesses, right? So you're actually
Yes.
running multiple different money earners at the same time, right? Which
So
is
another
ingenious.
thing that you need to do, I'm a dog trainer.
Okay,
Why
so
am I a dog trainer? Not because I went out and wanted to do it, it's because I adopted a puppy, a Rottweiler puppy that was 8 months old, 90 pounds, and didn't know the word no. I kept calling my trainer buddy and I said, Sean, he's doing this. What do I do? He'd tell me what to do. Sean, he's doing this. What do I do? About the third or fourth time I called him, Sean says, Bart, we're doing a train the trainer program. You should come take the classes so you can train your own dog. If you're not going to pay me to train your dog, come take the classes.
go to the class.
And so I went and took the classes, and now I'm a dog trainer. And
Nice.
it's make it. I get paid a good amount of money to play with other people's dogs.
Yeah.
So I joke that I monetized my mutt.
But then you also mentioned you have control over that. You said something about you were doing it too often at one point and you had to pull
So
back.
when I first started, and this is something, yeah, this is something that people need to think about because we
Mm,
always say, Oh, I wish I was Musk, or I wish I was
Mm,
Bezos, or I wish I was whatever billionaire you want to think of. And I just go, oh, really? Are you willing to do what it takes? And so when I first got in the business, I wasn't doing it right. One dog would go home, the next dog would come in, and I had 4 or 5 dogs at my house for 388 days before I had to take a break to get a knee replacement surgery. And when I took that break, I was just like, oh, I like this. I like not having so many dogs here. How do I fix this when I get back on my feet? And so what I do now is I bring all the dogs in at the same time instead of staggering them, and then they go home at the same time, and
mm,
then I take time off. Whether it's
mm.
I decide when the next dogs come in.
Right.
And so when you're doing this, when you're starting a side hustle especially, don't don't create yourself a job. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to start things, but make sure you can create something that is maintainable to where you have the freedom.
Mm. Because that's why you want to start a business in the first place, is to get some
Exactly.
freedom, right?
You don't
Yeah,
want to have to go to work unless you want to.
exactly.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest and say I probably work more than people actually go to a job.
Mm.
But I'm doing stuff I like to do. When I'm learning AI and messing with AI and building with I have to force myself to go to bed. It'll be
Are
two
you
o'clock in the
monetizing that?
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, it's part of my strategy. I help people identify their ideal side hustle, and then I help them start their side hustle and save time, money, and increase their chances of success by
With
teaching
AI.
them how to use AI for business. But I mean, even here, so we're talking. It's almost 12 o'clock. It's almost midnight where
Mm.
I'm at,
Oh,
and I'm
okay.
talking to you.
Right.
But I love, if you haven't noticed, I love talking about this stuff, and I don't care that it's almost midnight. My wife might care, but I don't care.
Yeah, I mean,
And
when you like what you do, it's not really a job, right? So,
and so even if you're spending more time, if you like it, it doesn't
mm,
matter as
mm,
long as you can control the freedom side. If I didn't want to do this, I didn't have to do this.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so that's what you
Nice.
want to be aware of when you're starting a side hustle or wanting to be an
Yeah.
entrepreneur.
Don't build yourself a job.
Yeah, don't build yourself a high paying, well, depending on how high paying it is, I would take a high paying job.
Yeah. But yeah, you don't want to be working all of those hours and then also not getting what you want from it as well. So you've got to
Exactly.
plan ahead. Yeah. So Bart, it's been really such a pleasure to have you on. You've given such great words of wisdom, I think, today, and it would help a lot of people who are thinking, should I? And they're even thinking just to start one business, and you've got multiple on at the same time. So this is definitely food for thought. And if you're going to be doing something anyway, you might as well make money from it. I think that's just a brilliant mindset to have. So thank you so much for coming on
Thank you for
today.
having me.
Right. And where can people get in touch with you if they need to?
So I have a free gift for everybody that's listening that wants it. It is the 1K blind spot assessment. In
Right.
10 minutes, you can answer the questions and you'll get an assessment of what you're really, really good at. And you're just going to point out a couple of blind spots. And you can get that at youridealsidehustle.com.
Okay. Youridealsidehustle.com. I'll put the link to that under the show, wherever you're listening or watching from. You'll be able to see that link.
I'm
Okay.
also on Facebook. That's where I'm active the most is on Facebook, just Bart
Right.
Merrill.
Yeah.
And feel free to connect with me there as well.
Right. Lovely. Okay. So thank you so much, Bart, for coming on today.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the show today. And if you've liked what you've heard, then do subscribe to the channel wherever you see it, wherever you're watching it. And if you're on YouTube, ring the bell so that you can get notified when we upload another episode so you don't miss the episodes as they come up.